So, guys, we have reached the final 30th episode of 30 Parks in 30 Days. We've had so much fun this 2025 baseball season going over each of the teams, and this will be airing on opening day of Major League Baseball on Thursday, March 28th. So super exciting that baseball is going to happen later today. How cool is that? But Darren, how are you doing first and foremost?
It's opening day, the real opening day. I'm excited as all heck.
I am not going to be paying attention to a single thing I'm doing at work today. I'm going to just be honest. Should have used the PTO day, but I did not. But if we mind sharing a few words about our sponsors over at Nashville Tax Solutions.
Attention Palm Bay and Fort Pierce. Are you struggling with tax issues? Whether you're behind on filings, dealing with a lien, or just need expert guidance, Nashville Tax Solutions is here to help. Their team knows the ins and outs of tax relief and is ready to fight for you. But don't just take my word for it. Listen to the clients. Chris Bennett and his team saved me from a financial nightmare. They're knowledgeable, clear, and compassionate. So don't let tax troubles keep you up at night. Call 855-627-4829. Visit NashvilleTaxSolutions.com or email info@NashvilleTaxSolutions.com today. Nashville Tax Solutions, because tax problems deserve real solutions.
Yes. Thank you, Darren, and thank you, team, Nashville Tax Solutions team, Christopher Bennett, all that you do. Excited some things that you have coming up. So let's get into Tampa Bay Rays talk. So the worst almost happened a few days ago. Shane McClanahan finally coming back from being out all season, part of the season prior, finally ready to take the mound, and his last start gets injured, and it seemed very, very serious. Fortunately, though, the test revealed that the left-hander is only suffering from a nerve problem in his triceps area, so he will be on the 15-day DL, but a lot of that will be retroactive to now, so he won't miss probably more than 2 starts. That is a huge sigh of relief for the Rays. Fortunately, they had a solid rotation with or without him, but it really makes a difference when his name is not on that list. So when we go over the rotation here, and I guess we can start there, Darren, I'm omitting his name because he's not starting opening day, but he will slide in nicely in that one spot. But again, this is a right-handed pitching rotation without Shane McClanahan, unfortunately. But we have Drew Rasmussen, Ryan Pepio, Shane Baz, Taj Bradley, and Zach Littell. Watching as many Rays games as I can, the outsider may look at that and go, what is that? But watching as much games, that is a loaded rotation. So if you're not familiar with Rays baseball, that is a very, very good pitching rotation. The problem happens when these guys take the mound for that third time, typically, or if the manager pulls them with five innings pitched with 1 hit ball, and then they go to the bullpen a little too easy or too early. We know that the Rays have a good pen, but typically they get worn out pretty quickly because there's no, he'll pull them at the drop of a dime in the 6th inning if need be. So I'd like to see those pitchers stretched out a little bit more. But your thoughts on outside of Tampa Bay perspective, what are your initial thoughts on this rotation?
I have deferred to you and to your wonderful wife, Eileen, for the Rays, and I've grown to watch a lot of Rays baseball. And it's true. They have starters, or openers rather, who are very, very good. First 4 innings, better than, up there with everybody in the league except for maybe the Dodgers. But when you get to them the third time, they're either spent or you get into the bullpen, which is suspect at best. And without good relief pitching, they got to extend these pitchers. I mean, it just doesn't really work, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't. Now, mentioned the openers, so they've been at a point the last 2 years. This will be the second year where they've gotten away from the openers because they have solid rotation. But when they do have an injury, instead of calling up someone for the minors, they'll usually do the opener on like the spot starts.
But that's my point. They still use the starters like an opener, right? Yeah. I mean, they're calling something else, but they're only going 4 innings.
Yeah. Yep, that is true. So looking at this lineup, this projected lineup, Yandy Diaz leading off. He is a staple for Tampa Bay. Brandon Lau, second base. The guy's just got to stay healthy. What he could have done with his numbers had he stayed healthy. Junior Caminero, very high on him. He is third base. Josh Lowe, right field's got a lot of power, but not great for batting average. Same with Christopher Morel, left field. Jonathan Aranda, first base. This guy they're very high on. I've watched a lot of Rays games, Darren, and I've never seen him get a hit. I don't know. Maybe I just miss all the games. Danny Jansen, catcher.
You don't miss any games.
Yeah, that's right. Taylor Walls, shortstop. Definitely not a fan of his. He's more of a bench player, not an everyday player. So I feel like he's got a lot to prove. They do have Hae-Sung Kim. That's going to be starting the season on the IL. So that was a surprising move. Not so much that they signed him, but that the money tag with him, let alone someone who's injured. So I was surprised to see that. Not quite sure where he's going to fit in because Brandon Little plays second base. So that'll be interesting. But your thoughts on the Tampa Bay Rays competing this season in a loaded division? Yes, we know Garrett Cole's out for the Yankees, but is there any world? I know we've made our predictions, and the Rays are not going to be very high on your list there. But is there any world where you can see them competing for a spot? Because I think it was six or 7 years in a row they made the playoffs. But last year was a down year. Can they bounce back, or is this team unfortunately subject to a tough division?
They are not going to do much this year. I think that who they are this year is a team in transition in many ways. They have no home, and without sounding like a conspiracy theorist, it's almost like they don't want to be in Tampa anymore, and they'd rather move to Central Florida or somewhere else. And some of the time we have what's going on there?
It is every day. The articles, I'm in the 3 different fan groups, and the articles change every day. But the consensus, the Orlando Dreamers want them. They're ready for them. They have the funds already, over $1 billion in funds. Like, they're ready to go. It would be horrible if they had to change their names from Rays to Dreamers. I don't see them leaving Tampa. I feel like they're going to try to renovate the stadium as best as possible.
Didn't they put a kibosh on that, at least for now, temporarily? What was that?
The latest is now they're willing. So they put the kibosh on building new stadium. That's not going to happen. Now they just want to renovate the old one. That's the newest one. So unfortunately, now if they're going to do that, they might as well gut the whole thing, because it's I can't imagine how you renovate. I mean, the roof's been off for how long now, and mold, and it's just so sad to see. And so many fans that can't afford to go to a game because it's like $100 for most seats. It's really sad. So they priced out their fans, which they didn't have a lot of to begin with. So I think this is a team that's going to really need to show that they can ball early. They have the only reason I think this team can be in the race for a while, because their starting pitching is so dominant. I really feel there's never been a pitching staff in Major League Baseball as good with a good of a fifth starter as Tampa Bay has with Taj Bradley. Not 1 through 5. I'm not saying that. But I've never seen a fifth starter better than Taj. Should be the anchor of a rotation somewhere, and he's sitting there at number 5. And it's just because of run production. We look at Jacob deGrom when he was with the Mets. I think there's one year he was like 10-11, but he never scored for the guy. So I'm very, very high on their pitching staff. Losing Jose Siri is a big deal for them, but he is a little bit of pain in the butt sometimes with his personality. I
love them. I love them.
Yeah, I love them.
So, I worry about the fact that in a very real way, they're playing 162 road games. They just are, because, listen, you can make George Steinbrenner Stadium seem like it is a major league stadium and do some other things, but it's not home, and they don't know where they're going to play the following year.
Yeah,
I don't know. See, the A's. Just let me finish your thought here. I'm sorry. The A's, for as messed up as that situation is, at least they know where they're going theoretically.
Yeah.
The Rays have no idea where they're going.
Yep, it's literally back and forth. No, we're going to go here. No, we're going to build a new. Like, why? It's tough, and it's just the longer they take, the longer it's going to be. It's now, if they do decide a new stadium, it's going to be 2028, 2029, and so it's really sad that this is going to go on for that long. But consensus is this is a team with very good pitching. They can win a lot of games. They're not going to score a lot of runs. Unfortunately, they don't have a lot of guys that are consistent enough. And if they did, they'll probably trade them anyway. So unfortunately, as it pains me to say this, I have the Tampa Bay Rays finishing 4th in the division, just above the Blue Jays. I believe, Darren, you had it flip-flop. I think have the Rays 5 and Blue Jays 4, but I could be wrong. So with that said, they get the big X. Unfortunately, I'd love to see them compete. Like I said, I love their rotation, but just not enough bats in that lineup. So thank each one of you guys for this being a part of this series, 30 Parks in 30 Days. And hey, just a couple hours from now, opening pitch. I believe there's a couple games. The Yankees and Brewers start at 3:05 today. So keep an eye out for that. And of course, all the games are starting today, except for Tampa Bay and Colorado, which will take place tomorrow because they needed one extra day. I don't know what that's going to do. They need one extra day to get the stadium ready. So with that said, thank you so much for being part of this, Darren. Had a great time, and we will see you later today, opening day, and on the Around the Ballpark podcast. See you next time. Bye, guys.